You are asleep, completely out, drooling on your pillow, with zero awareness of the world around you. By every biological definition, you are helpless. Now imagine you're not in your bedroom, but in a tent.
A thin piece of nylon separates you from a forest full of animals that could end you if they felt like it.
Lions, bears, wolves, leopards, creatures that can hear your heartbeat from across a clearing. They can smell you from a mile away and see perfectly in the dark while your eyes are closed.
Yet, you wake up every single time. Why?
Seriously, think about this for a second.
A sleeping human is just meat. Slow meat, quiet meat.
Meat that can't fight back, can't run, can barely register something's happening until it is.
You'd think predators would be circling campsites every night like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
But they're not. They almost never are. And it's not just one thing. There are several explanations, each one more fascinating than the last. Together, they paint a picture of a strange, invisible agreement between humans and the wild.
An agreement that goes back further than civilization, further than agriculture, further than anything we think of as human history.
This goes deep. Let's go. Start with the thing that sounds like an ego trip, but is actually just biology. You are terrifying. Not you specifically. You right now watching this are probably fine, normal, not particularly scary. But humans as a species, to predators, we are genuinely, deeply, evolutionarily frightening. Not in a way that's obvious from looking at us. We don't have claws, we're not fast, we're not particularly strong. We can't even see well in the dark. On paper, we're kind of a disaster as an animal. And yet. A study published in 2019 by researchers at UC Santa Cruz found something remarkable. They played audio recordings of human voices near mountain lions, also called pumas or cougars. In the Santa Cruz Mountains in California, normal human voices, people just talking, and the pumas fled.
They fled at the same rate they fled from the sound of dogs barking, and in many cases, even faster.
These are animals that take down full-grown deer like it's nothing.
Animals that can drag a kill up a steep hill.
Animals that are absolute units of predatory efficiency. And they heard a podcast and ran.
That wasn't a one-off result. The same research showed that pumas abandoned food.
Food they'd already killed. Food they were eating when they heard human voices. They left their meal and moved away. From a survival standpoint, that's an enormous cost. A predator giving up a kill is basically working for free. The calories burned don't get replenished. And they still did it.
Because the discomfort of being near humans outweighed the cost of hunger.
That result confirmed something biologists had been noticing across multiple continents and multiple species for a long time. Lions in Africa's Kruger National Park reduced their movement in areas with higher human activity. Tigers in India give wide berths to villages, even when those villages sit in the middle of prime habitat. Jaguars in the Amazon have adjusted their movement patterns to avoid locations where humans are regularly present. These aren't animals that are physically incapable of attacking. They're animals that have decided it isn't worth it. And the reason for that is one of the most brutal facts in natural history. We have been hunting and killing large predators for so long and so effectively that we have literally shaped their genetics. Think about the scope of that. Humans have been active predators for somewhere around 2 million years.
We hunted mammoths out of existence.
We wiped megafauna off entire continents: giant sloths, woolly rhinos, saber-toothed cats, cave bears. In 1903, species that had survived ice ages vanished within thousands of years of humans arriving in their territories. In North America, we hunted wolves to near extinction across the entire continental landmass. We eliminated mountain lions from the entire eastern half of the continent. In 1903, we shot, trapped, and poisoned predators so systematically and for so long that the ones alive today are descended from animals that were most careful around us. That's not a metaphor. That's natural selection. The lions that approached human camps too boldly got killed. The wolves that preyed on human settlements got hunted down. The predators that kept their distance, that treated humans as something to avoid, survived and reproduced.
They passed that inherited caution to their offspring.
Over thousands of years and thousands of generations, that caution became biological. It became instinct. It became the baseline behavior of every large predator that shares space with humans today. So, when a leopard picks up your scent in the night, somewhere deep in its nervous system, a very old alarm goes off.
Not a thought exactly, it's not consciously thinking about human history. In 1903, the Wright brothers managed to invent this wonderful machine.
But an ancient, wired-in, inherited signal that says, "Be careful, don't engage, move on." That alarm has been passed down from every ancestor of that leopard that survived a close encounter with humans. It's a biological memory, and it runs deep. Now, let's talk about your smell. You've probably never really thought about how you smell. Because you're surrounded by other humans all the time, and you've normalized it completely.
But to a predator with a nose anywhere from 10 to 100,000 times more sensitive than yours,
you are broadcasting an enormous, detailed, and deeply strange chemical signal. Bears have a sense of smell about 7 times stronger than a bloodhound's. Wolves can detect scents from nearly 2 miles away.
that essentially lets them taste the air and analyze chemical information at a level we can barely imagine. When these animals encounter a sleeping human, they are receiving a flood of olfactory data. And a lot of that data is just wrong. You smell wrong. You smell like synthetic fabrics like nylon and polyester and whatever chemicals were used in the manufacturing process. You smell like processed food, the meal you ate hours ago, the snacks in your bag. You smell like soap and shampoo and sunscreen and insect repellent. A cocktail of artificial compounds that has no analog anywhere in the natural world. Beneath all of that, you smell like a primate.
Which is something, but it's not the thing. Not the deer or the wild beast or the rabbit that these predators have evolved to recognize and hunt.
A predator's hunting instinct is not generic.
It's not a vague desire to kill things that move.
It's a finely tuned system calibrated to specific prey.
The system targets herbivores, with movement patterns indicating a high probability of successful engagement.
A lion's strike mechanism is activated by the shape, speed, and smell of animals it has hunted thousands of times.
You don't fit the pattern.
You're not in the system. You're an anomaly.
Anomalies trigger caution rather than aggression. There's also the Campfire Effect, one of the most underrated things humans have ever figured out. Fire is one of the only stimuli that produces a near-universal fear response across virtually all land animals.
It's not a learned behavior, it's not something animals figure out from experience.
Innate. Ancient.
Animals that were afraid of fire in the wild survived wildfires by running. Animals that weren't afraid of fire didn't.
The fear is so deeply embedded that laboratory-raised animals will show avoidance behavior at the smell of smoke.
It goes that deep into the evolutionary code. Humans discovered fire somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago. And for most of that time, sleeping next to a fire has been standard operating procedure.
We weren't doing it just for warmth or to cook. We were doing it, maybe without knowing it consciously.
Because it works as a repellent. A campfire doesn't just keep you warm.
It broadcasts a signal into the surrounding dark that says, "Something dangerous is here." Something that controls fire. Something that should be avoided.
The predators got that message, and they've been getting it for so long that the message doesn't even need to be decoded anymore. It just triggers avoidance automatically.
Fire first. Smart move, honestly.
Now let's tackle the biggest myth about predators, because movies have spent decades getting this completely wrong. Predators are not reckless. This is so important.
The image of the apex predator as this fearless, unstoppable killing machine that attacks anything within range is fiction. Pure fiction.
In reality, large predators are extraordinarily careful about what they engage with, because they have to be.
A lion doesn't have health insurance. A wolf doesn't have sick days. One serious injury, a broken leg, a deep bite wound, a damaged eye, can mean a slow death by starvation.
In the wild, injuries don't heal at the vet. They either heal on their own, or they don't, and the animal dies.
This means every single decision a predator makes about whether to engage with something is a survival calculation. Is this prey item familiar enough that I know how it will behave? Is the chance of a successful hunt high enough?
A sleeping human fails this calculation in multiple ways. First, unfamiliarity.
A predator is most confident attacking prey it knows. It's watched the prey animal hundreds of times.
It knows how a zebra runs, where its blind spots are, how it kicks when it panics. It does not know how a human will respond.
Humans are wildly unpredictable. We might wake up screaming. We might have tools nearby. We might have other humans nearby who will respond.
We might thrash in completely unexpected ways.
Humans, when they stand up, are actually pretty big. We're tall, upright, and our bipedal posture makes us appear larger.
Researchers studying predator-prey dynamics have noted that bipedalism is itself a kind of threat display.
Standing upright is what gorillas do when they want to intimidate. It's what bears do when they want to look threatening.
A creature that walks around like that all the time as its default mode reads as inherently assertive to other animals. Even asleep, the silhouette of a human shape is unusual in a way that doesn't say easy meal. Third, and maybe most importantly, why bother?
Prey it's comfortable hunting. Prey that fits its biological template. Going after something strange, unknown, and potentially dangerous when there's a perfectly available impala or rabbit makes no sense. The risk-reward math just doesn't work out. Here's something else that almost never comes up in these conversations. Your sleep is not as deep as you think. This is actually one of the more astonishing things about human biology.
Including REM sleep, where your brain is actually quite active.
During those lighter stages, your brain remains surprisingly responsive to the environment around you. External sounds still get processed.
Unfamiliar noises are more likely to break through into awareness than familiar ones. Scientists call this the Sentinel Function of sleep. The idea is that even while resting, animals, including humans, maintain a partial watch on the environment.
Your brain, during light sleep stages, is still filtering sensory input and flagging things that seem unusual or threatening. A change in air pressure and smell that comes with something large approaching. These things can pull you toward waking faster.
This is not an accident.
Humans in our evolutionary history who slept too deeply, who were completely unresponsive to nighttime threats, were more likely to not wake up at all.
The lighter sleepers, the ones who could go from asleep to on their feet in seconds, were the ones who survived and reproduced. So next time you're lying in a tent in the middle of nowhere, listening to the sounds of the dark beyond the nylon wall, and you feel